it has a social effect because of the message that it's preaching. But the message that it's preaching is a religious message. There's no question about that in my mind. It is a message of religious fanaticism, which says that
communism also was a religion.
Absolutely.
The message was very religious.
Absolutely, and it's very interesting that the ideologues who were behind radical Islam as it developed in the 20th century drew very deeply on communist thinking, on Marxist thinking, and also formed actual strategic alliance with Nazism. In other words, they drew on totalitarianism because it is itself a totalitarian mindset, which, and as you say, there are many similarities, but I think potentially it could be misleading to describe it as a social movement. That makes it sound too benign and too manageable. It has a social impact, especially when it comes to recruiting. These people are recruiting. They're recruiting an army. And the way they recruit the army is to seize upon the weakness of these boys and exploit the weakness. But the message they're giving is a religious fanatical message, a fanatical religious message. Or it's rooted in religious fanaticism. And a particular sort of fanaticism which turns, and again it's so similar to Soviet communism, to Stalinist communism. It turns language and thinking inside out, because just like Soviet communism, it really is a totalizing worldview. It says Islam is perfection, and therefore it and the people who are pious Muslims, who are proper Muslims, are incapable of doing wrong because they are doing God's work. It's not possible that they do wrong. So everything they do is right. And so if wrong deeds are done, it's the victim's fault. So when they attack the West, when they blow up innocent people, they are not being aggressive. On the contrary, they are defending their position against attack. When they speak untruths, they are not untruths because they're speaking God's words.
You cannot, if you compare the communists and the socialists, that's the same situation. They have the same roots, let's say, Marx or so, Saint-Simon and so on, and all that, let's say, the same case. But they are different. The communism was a very effective political weapon.
They are very, very similar.
And you have another side, the social democrats in Scandinavia and the UK.
They are similar, but the problem with Islam, what confuses so many people, is that it's both a religion and an ideology, because it is a religion that says it must rule in the secular world. In other words, there can be no secular rule. So therefore, it is both a politics and a religion. It is basically saying, God must rule in the world. So it's both politics and religion, and we find it very difficult, especially in Britain, to understand that it's both together. So you're right, it is like Soviet communism in many respects, but it's also like medieval Christianity in certain respects. It has many resemblances to the Inquisition, and it is this unique fusion of the two. That's why it's so complicated and difficult to deal with, because we want to be in the liberal West. We want to be nice to religion. We think that religion, that people have a right to religious faith. And it's not right for the state to interfere with that, which I agree with. But the problem is, in this case, it's not just a religion, it's also a political ideology, hence the confusion. Well, yes, but as far as the state is concerned, it should not allow the religion of Islam to encroach into the political sphere, which is why I say that Sharia is the point. Because Sharia is precisely where the religion becomes the politics. So a state like Britain, or the European states, should say, we will not have Sharia, because that is where the religion becomes political, becomes subversive, becomes a threat to the state.